welcome back to Common Ground, an inside look at Suffolk County. My guest now is Steve Lampron, who is the Director of Teen Services at the Jordan Boys and Girls Club in Chelsea, which Chelsea is a National Civic League All-American city.
Yes, this past Sunday was announced there's 25 cities that were nominated, and Chelsea was one of the top 10, and they actually won the national award for an All-American city.
That's pretty fascinating. How did that come to be? Like, how did you?
Well, the city manager, they put their stuff in to qualify for programs that they run. Trying to keep kids off the streets, trying to actually improve the community, some of the struggles and issues that they had. So they nominated themselves. They went there on last Friday.
Yeah.
They represented the city, and on this past Sunday, they actually won it. 3 of our staff went along with them, representing the Boys and Girls Club.
That's awesome. So congratulations to the city of Chelsea.
We're very proud of them.
So tell me a little bit about some of the teen programs that are offered at the Boys and Girls Club in Chelsea.
So some of the different things that we do offer at the Boys and Girls Club is, one of them is College Club. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we notice kids struggle with school, and if we can kind of make sure that kind of awkwardness and fear about going on to college, because most of them, the parents have never gone to college.
Right.
So one of the things that we want to do is kind of the myth behind going to college, kind of make sure that, if they don't want to go to college because they decide to go a different track, mm-hmm. not because they're afraid, it's because they choose something else.
Like a vocation or something else.
So at the College Club, what we do is we take them on college tours, we actually help them with the application, financial aid, and we have another component that goes with it. We have a student athlete club as well. And what they do is they went to Stonehill this year. Caitlin Quinn, who is our education director for the teen program, took them to Stonehill, and her brother is a coach over there, and they kind of went through a day as the students and the athletes did it.
Oh, wow.
So they actually connected with the athletes. They went through like a typical day an athlete would have at the school, so they can kind of see what that kind of experience is. So, because sometimes I think they don't get the understanding that with the school, is like, even if you're an athlete, you're still expected to have the same standards as a regular student. So.
Exactly, you still have to pass your classes.
Yes, yeah.
So now, how far away are the schools that you visit? Are they?
Well, right now, most of them they're local, like, we've been to LaSalle, we go to Northeastern, UMass, we've been to BC, we've been to different colleges. Very fortunate being in the city of Boston, connected to it in Chelsea, that there's, great learning institutions around here, so.
Plenty of them in the city of Boston.
We also have some, community colleges like Bunker Hill, which are very supportive in Chelsea of the, the families and the kids.
Well, I would think that would be an easier sell, if you will, for some of these kids and their parents. If they're nervous about going away for college, you can say, oh, but you're just right here in Boston, or
well, sometimes they get the gen ed and they don't spend as much money, and then they can transfer into a 4-year school.
Right.
And also to see that process where maybe it's not as scary if they take a small step instead of that giant leap to a 4-year school.
Exactly.
We would like them to go to the 4-year, but if they have to take that little step, that's fine as well.
Yeah, and that, of course, that's not for everybody jumping right into a 4-year, so they can get their feet wet at Bunker Hill or some other community college. And
right. And one of the things that another program we have is called Life After the Club. So the staff, each staff has a mentor to anywhere from 5 to 10 teens in the building.
Wow.
And they actually check in with them all the time, like, hey, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? How are you doing in school? What would you like to see the club provide? Kind of just getting to know them a little better in their hopes and dreams, and kind of gearing them down a path. Like, so if they decide they don't want to go to college, hey, here's some vocational schools you can go to. Or here's some other opportunities that might be available to you. Ideally, we would like them to go to college, because we know that exponentially, if you do go to college, you make more in your lifetime, and they can get out of some of the the dire circumstances that they're in. So.
Right. And I think one of the things that I notice about the Boys and Girls Clubs, not just in Chelsea, but also in Boston, is that the attitude of kids who have been in the Boys and Girls Club is so great, because they always talk about how great their experience was. I'm going to do a plug for the Wahlberg family, but Mark Wahlberg is one who constantly talks about how influential the Boys and Girls Club was for him.
Well, there's a lot of us. I actually grew up in the club as well. One of the things that's unique, it's really a kid perspective up organization.
Right.
So not an adult perspective down. So everything we try to do is in the best interest of kids and teens. And sometimes with adults, adults have to be control freaks, and everything has to be
I don't know what you're talking about.
They want to make sure that they have their grip on it. But we try to look at it like, how can we make something fun, but also as you're doing that, it's like I have an old friend that used to say, if you're not laughing, you're not learning.
Right.
So we're trying to always make whatever component it is Traditionally, when you used to teach some things, it'd be more like rote learning, or it'd be along the lines of, 1 + 1 is 2. Well, we know that hands-on, getting your hands dirty, getting your fingernails dirty, jumping into it is a lot better. It's a lot more fun for them, and they get something out of it. Like two new programs that's been implemented, and probably the technology one has been in the last 10 years, 12 years. But the music studio also, it's been in the last few years. These two components have actually pushed a lot of our teens farther than they've ever gone before, outside the comfort zone. Technology, we've taken them to MIT.
Right.
The Media Lab, we've taken them to the Museum of Science. We've also shown them how to use circuits and creating their own technology stuff.
Yeah.
Like they've done stuff where they've, like they created their own doorbell. They're actually, it's called, I wish I had the correct term because Sean would hear for me. But they use like magnets. It's a thing called, here it is, it's called Little Bits. They actually create their own stuff. So they use circuit boards and different things like along them lines.
Well, that's got to be very rewarding for these kids, because they're actually doing something and at the end of the day can point to it and say, I created that.
Well, Sean, who's over at the club, he actually helped one of our members actually fix an Xbox.
Oh, wow.
They took it apart, and because what Sean has done, that's a real life application. Like you go home, you break your Xbox. Hopefully it's not throwing the controller through the TV, but it just broke, and one of the staff, it wasn't working. Sean and the member, Edwin, actually took it apart and fixed it.
Well, and see, that will give him an opportunity to think, okay, this might not have been something, Edwin, you said his name, thought this is now going to be something I might focus on because I'm really good at this.
Right.
And so he might have been thinking, oh, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but now he's thinking electronics is something for me.
Well, and also too, it just expands his world. Like he goes, hey, well, I actually can do this, where before he might not have had that opportunity.
Right.
And the other one is the music studio, which is fantastic because we had an event at the Strand Theater about 5 weeks ago with the Music and Youth Initiative. So during the year, we have about 8 to 12 teens that actually got together and performed. They made their own songs, their own music. And then one night, all the clubs in the greater Boston area come together and they perform at the Strand.
That's great.
I think BNN actually broadcasted it well, I believe.
I'm sure.
It's fantastic. So, but what I like about it is it goes from learning the instrument to creating a song, or if you just want to sing, or if you want to use also technology, software, and it actually, whatever kind of direction the kids and the teens want to go, we kind of help them with that vehicle with the music studio. And some of the stuff that just blew me away, like I thought, like growing up, there was great songs and stuff, and these kids and teens are just, it's amazing what they've done. Very proud of when they represent us at the Strand.
Now, are they doing actual instruments, or are they doing some computer
well,
program?
they're doing both. A lot of them can play their own instruments. Most of them can play their own instruments. But what they do is they use the instruments, record it themselves, and then whatever way they want to manipulate it to what it sounds like, and then they write their own raps, their own songs. And what I like about it is not just one or two teens, they actually collaborate together. So they'll be in the room. Deal, who runs the program, is fantastic. She really pulls their talent out of them. Like some of them will come in like, I don't want to sing, and then she'll just kind of do like a little humming and a little tune comes out of her, and the next thing we know, there's 8 or 9 kids singing the same song. But also, I think what she does, the zone that she creates up in the music studio is safe. So once it's safe, the teens will let themselves come out.
Right, so it's no judgment, and then they get to explore their musical talents. And
also at that deal, as she's doing that, she's actually teaching them about other components of music that they might not have thought about. Like, this is how you write a song, this is how you look for, this is how you harmonize.
Right.
And we're very proud of that program over the last year that I've been there. We've seen just some incredible songs. Like they actually wrote a song about anti-bullying that this past February we did with the school district in Chelsea, as well as some other local agencies. And we had a performance at the club, and the girls that made the song and our Keystone group with the leadership group got together and kind of made a performance. The girls sang it, and the Keystones danced behind them, and it was pretty impressive.
That's great. They should do a PSA for it.
We actually have one.
Oh, well, there you go.
If we could send it to you guys or put it on there, it'd be fantastic.
I'm sure that we here at BNN would love that.
Yeah.
That's I think that's really fascinating that there are so many outlets for the kids to explore, and it gives them a different sort of outlook, if you will. What are some of the summer programs that are happening right now?
Right now, we're in the middle of creating the calendar. So we're going to take some kids fishing. We're going to take them down to the Patriots training camp, where they actually get to go through the same drills as the Patriots players.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, it's in August. I don't want to say the date because I don't want anybody to show up. But if you could look that up online if you'd like to. nothing personal, but I like all my teens at the Chelsea site to be able to go to this. And
So do they get to actually run drills with the players?
not with the players, but they get to
Okay.
go through the same process as a player would go through.
Right.
So,
And you never know, I don't want to overstate it, but you never know, there might be a player on hand who will come and do something.
I'm sure there'll be somebody down there. You know, the Patriots are very fantastic what they do for
Yes.
the local, Boys and Girls Club
Yep.
and other agencies as well.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Fenway Park. We're going to go on some tours like that. But also, we're actually going to do some science stuff at the club as well. We're going to show them things that they can make. So what we try to do is every day have 3 or 4 planned activities,
Yeah.
and then on the spot fun. So on the spot fun would be like, we might just run outside and start playing ultimate frisbee.
Right.
But a lot of the stuff, there's that learning gap in the summer. So we kind of want to stop that. So we're actually going to go to the Museum of Fine Arts.
Nice.
We're going to go to the Egyptian exhibit. They're really a great partner to the Boys and Girls Club.
So not to cut you off, but so for a parent at home in Chelsea who might be listening in and thinking, oh, this might be something I should have my kid do, how does it work? So if they're looking to sign up for the Boys and Girls Club, what is the whole process to join?
Sure. So what you do, you call the club up and you talk to Carmen. And what she would do, she would sign you up for an orientation. So they have a day, you come in, and for 6 to 12-year-olds, it's $25, and for teens, it's only $5. So, and that's during the school year. The summer, it's a different fee. But if they call Carmen up right now, I'm sure if they have spots available. I know the 6 to 10 is full up at the
Right.
moment. But so the preteens and the teens, there are spots available. And then once that happens, they can come. And you actually, with the Boys and Girls, what's great about the Boys and Girls Club, even if you can't afford the fees, we do the best we can to kind of find somewhere else that somebody else will pay for
Right.
that. So we don't want nobody not coming to the club because they can't afford it.
Right.
Hopefully once we get them in the door, we can keep them. So.
And what are the hours? Are they there from?
So in the summer, it's 9 to 3
Yep.
for the 6 to 12-year-olds, and the teens go 9 to 6. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And so, every day, like I said, with the teens, we try to make sure we have at least 3 or 4 trips a week, but we try to go off-site every day, whether it's even down to Admiral's Hill,
Yep.
or we're probably going to try to go to the Sea Point and do some fishing in that area as well. So.
Very good. UPS Road Code course, what is that?
That's a national program that we're connected with the Boys and Girls Club of America. And basically it teaches kids about the roads, and we have these simulators where they get on and they learn how to drive.
Yeah.
And some of them have, I'm telling you, the first time I tried it, the Edwin kid I told you about earlier,
Yeah.
he put it on impaired. And he didn't tell me, so I'm driving, I'm like, this ain't anything like a rail car, but it really was, because I didn't know I was impaired. I hit like a stop sign, I crashed into a tree, and the thing just shut down. But it really shows them the importance of paying attention to the road.
Right.
And
Not
what-
texting and driving.
Right. And what's great about this, it actually is kind of, at a younger age, it teaches them about driving. And it's actually a good tool, so when they go to drive, they have some skills already instead of being nervous as it is. But it's great, there's different things they go through, so it's about a 5-6 hour training. Then at the end of it, they get t-shirts and bags and stuff. We presented, this summer we're doing it 3 or 4 times. If anybody wants to come to the club and be part of it, it's fantastic. We're always looking for as many people we can get to be in the program as well.
Plug the number for people at home just in case they.
Did you say the number?
Yeah,
oh, sorry.
yeah.
It's 617-884-9435. And we're more than willing to anybody that wants to do that program, you can come by and do it. You don't even have to be a member of the club to do that. We like to get as many teens in that program as we can, because it's very important. Especially today where you hear so many horrific stories about texting and some of the other stuff with the component of it. So.
Yeah, the whole texting and driving is not a good thing.
Well,
And
it's
so-
even how many are in the car not paying attention, and it's just, I don't think sometimes people realize how dangerous it is, how much a car weighs, and split second, and then you never know.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because it doesn't have to just be somebody paying attention to the phone. If there are other kids in the car and you're talking to each other and you look away, and then next thing you know, the car in front of you is stopped. And
so what's really cool about UPS is like it actually has different conditions as you're driving. Rain and snow, and it has like you're impaired. And it's different impairments. It could be like alcohol and drugs, something along them lines, as well as it could be texting as well. So
Right.
when you put on the impairment, you don't know until you start driving, and then you'll see how you struggle with it.
interesting.
So
Is it just like a box you
It's a
sit in,
simulator,
or-
so you have like a computer, and then you
Yeah.
have a steering wheel,
Yep.
and then you have these different things that you components on the side that like keyboard. It's a keyboard.
Yep.
So you press right or left if you're going right or left. You have things on the steering wheel. It's fantastic. I think just my own perspective, just trying it the few times I have. I wish I had it when I was younger. Probably would have made some better decisions, you know?
Maybe, but
I don't, yeah, I hope I would.
You never know. You never know. So I know that you said that a lot of times that you listen to the kids to hear what they want, but have there ever been some ideas that the kids come up with that the Boys and Girls Club is just like, that's not really going to work out?
Well, usually some of the things that usually don't work out is because, you know, unfortunately being a nonprofit, it's all about fundraising.
Right.
Like, if we have the funds, we like to do as much as we can. But the teens are pretty good about, like, you know, one time we had a group from Harvard come in and they're talking about renovating parts of Chelsea.
Yeah.
So one of the kids said, oh, they should build a movie theater, 32 theater, movie theater. I'm like, Chelsea can't handle 32. I goes, I don't know if they can handle even one because there's really not a lot of space.
Right.
But we do try to, what we do is we have a program called Teen Board, and the teens all come together and they actually tell us what they want. It could be something as like a late night, or could be like, hey, we want to go to the movies. Like we went to Laser Craze earlier this year, and we rented the whole place out, and it was, we divided all the teens up, and you know, we had a fantastic time just running around kind of playing that game.
So now you grew up in the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
And then you decided to go work for them, obviously.
Yeah.
What made you decide that you wanted to then give back, if you will?
Well, it's kind of like a twofold thing. So, like, I was very fortunate. You know, I was a single parent home, and my mom was an immigrant. And so sometimes you hear rhetoric about just when your parents from a different country. And the Boys and Girls Club were one of the few places that welcomed us.
Yep.
So as I got older, I realized how many more people are kind of negative toward the, you know, if you don't have a lot of things, if you're poor or don't have opportunities. And I realized I need to kind of pay it back what the club gave to me. I got a lot of great opportunities at the Boys and Girls Club. So by working there, I'm hoping I'm paying some of that back.
Right.
And hopefully we're teaching the kids that are there today, they'll be paying it forward.
Right.
So they see what we've done, and then down the road they can do that. I think the club needs a lot more adults that actually care. Not just the Boys and Girls Club, but even your other youth organization, because
Right.
you really can't make an impact unless you care and want to make a difference. And there's a lot of great kids that actually need help. Like Chelsea, fantastic teens, fantastic youth side members. And I noticed that we have fantastic staff. You know, one day I hope, like, you know, we never have to worry about funding. You know, unfortunately,
Right.
when the economy's great, everything's perfect. You know, we do okay. When the economy's not so good, we struggle. So.
Right. And there might be people at home right now who would like to give to the Boys and Girls Club. So can they do that online?
Yeah, they can do that online, or they can call directly to the club, you know, 617-884-9435.
And the website is bgcb.org.
Right.
So B as in boy, B as in boy, G as in George, C as in cat, B as in boy.org.
Yeah, Boys and Girls.
So, because yeah, it's definitely, and you know, I definitely agree with you that more parents need to be involved, and not just parents, but community folks need to be involved and understand what's happening, not just on their block, but throughout the communities.
Well, I think sometimes what happens is people want to blame teens for, like, yeah, they don't got this, they don't got that,
Right.
but sometimes they don't have nowhere to go, or you know, some of the things that are offered to them aren't really from that kid perspective up.
Right.
It's like, we want you to fit in this little peg.
Yep.
And that's what makes some of the program, like the technology and the music studio, and even some of the components that, you know, John and Caitlin have created in the Teen Center,
Right.
a little different, because it really is about engaging the teen and engaging the younger members to want to be part of the club.
Well, and I think that's definitely the key component, is getting the kids to feel like they have something, have a say in what they're doing.
Right, so like one of the things that I was going to bring up, in our aquatics department, Trav, who runs the aquatics department, he has a swim team, but he created scuba diving.
Is this a Travellini?
No, his name is
Okay.
Traverse.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
No, Travis a great guy.
Yeah.
He created scuba diving
Yeah.
and surfing. So you think about that, how many pool programs, aquatics programs around the city or even in the state have something that's scuba diving in the pool and surfing? So
how does that work, though, surfing in the pool?
So what he does, he teaches them the skill, like how to get on the board, all the stuff with the safety, and then he takes them to the beach, and then they actually do it there. So if you think about it, like, you know, sometimes like people look at the pool and they don't really understand how important it is. It's a life skill.
Right.
And also think about it, water's unforgiving.
Yep.
If you make a mistake with water, water will make you pay back 10 times what you would.
Right.
And hopefully nothing bad, but like not too bad.
Right.
But having the kids understand the importance of water, and then teaching them, here's some really cool things you can do in there.
Yeah.
You can do surfing, you can do scuba diving, and some of the kids that have gone through it, like, you know, at first they don't have the confidence. Then you see them come out like, Steve, I can't wait to go scuba diving in the ocean or surfing. like this past year, we took a youth leadership program to California for a conference.
Yep.
And we took them to the beach because they've been to this beach, the Atlantic Ocean. So we
the
took them to the Pacific Ocean, and they were just amazed. And if we were fortunate enough, we probably would have went surfing, but time constraints, we didn't have the opportunity. But
Well,
they
and
still
out
got to
in
go.
California is a great location, the Pacific Ocean, to surf.
Yeah, Orange County too. So
Yeah.
so it was fantastic. But stuff like that, that's the ideas like that staff have. Like they try to think like hands-on and life skills, and it's just fantastic.
Do you prepare them for internships, or do you have internships at the Boys and Girls Club? Anything to?
Well, we have a junior staff program, so teens that meet the requirements by the state, they can work at junior staff at the club. We also have a young leaders program that we run in the summer. So
Tell me about that.
The young leaders are teens between 13 and 14 that kind of fall in that gap that can't get jobs because they're too young.
Right.
So we take a group of them, and they kind of like leaders in training. So we call them young leaders. So what they do is they'll help support the staff in areas, deal with the kids, and kind of show them what we do at the Boys and Girls Club, but in a professional way. So you have to be on time.
Right.
You have to dress appropriately. You also have to.
That's music to my ears, dressing appropriately.
Yeah. Well, we at the club believe that because you kind of have to have that dress to success story. So but also at the club, to be honest, we're a little lax, because we want the teens to connect to us. So if I showed up in a suit every day, it's not really
Right.
conducive to play ping pong or go in the gym or,
But at least you're teaching them that when you
Right.
get to that age where you're looking for a job, you can't show up for a job interview in
Right.
jeans, or if it's a girl in a dress that might not be appropriate for an interview.
Well, we also have a thing called the career fair that we do every year with the teens as well. So this year we had it at Bank of Boston in downtown Boston. And we also did it locally at the club. So we had people come in, they did mock interviews. They actually met professionals in the field, police, firefighter, businessmen, computer people.
What kind of community partnerships do you have with different, whether it's Bank of America or some other?
Well, Chelsea itself has a lot of the local, the businesses that are there. And I don't want to mention one and then offend somebody else but they've been really fantastic. I think for the tight-knit community that it is, it actually really does want to help the families, the teens, and the young people there because they know that that's really, community's only as good as your people. We have really great partnerships. Like we have a golf tournament, which will be coming up in September. We just had a road race to Chelsea Chase back in May, and that was fantastic. We had a lot of people show up for that.
How many kids do you serve in Chelsea?
Well, there's we get about 1,500 members on the books, and we get a little over 250 a day.
Wow.
So.
And there's enough space for 250
Yes,
kids?
we could probably handle a little more, so if anybody would want to come down and sign up, we're more than welcome to come down, and we'd be happy to sign you up at the Boys and Girls Club.
So Jonathan Kraft, did he start this location?
It was actually Josh.
Josh, sorry.
Josh, yep. Yeah, Josh, he actually started in a local middle school.
Yeah.
And they seen the need in the community for a place for teens to go and young people to go, so him and a bunch of his friends and the Boys and Girls Club of Boston built the Jordan Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, and we should say the Kraft family is really good at giving back to the community, not just in Chelsea, but in other parts of the Commonwealth.
I think what's amazing about them, they're so, they lack ego when it comes to that. And I think sometimes people don't realize how much they invest, not just money, but their time and energy behind things that they believe.
Right.
And sometimes what you hear, you kind of like, and since we work at the club, sometimes we can't say this stuff, but what they've done is incredible.
Right.
Just look at the Boys and Girls Club of Boston. They have so many sites now. They help so many families and teens and young people. It's just amazing. And to be honest with you, the Chelsea site, if it wasn't for them being behind the scenes, it's hard to believe where these kids go. Like, there's nowhere else in that town for them to go and to have the same impact that it has. There are other programs, but there'd be a gap between the people that go to the club because there's not always enough room in the other sites as well.
Right, exactly. So just real quickly, can you give another plug for the folks at home, the phone number and the website if people want to call up and join or call up and donate?
So the Boys and Girls Club number is 617-884-9435, and our website is bgcb.org.
Great. I want to thank you so much for being here. It's, you know, obviously the Boys and Girls Club provides so much to so many. So thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me.
You're welcome. And just again, a reminder, the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department is doing a re-entry Building a Future forum tomorrow night, Wednesday, June 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. The doors will open at 5:30 and it's being held at the Roxbury Community College in the Media Arts Center. Some of the panelists, it's moderated by Sheriff Tompkins, and some of the panelists include Pastor Dickerson, City Councilor Tito Jackson, and Darnell Williams. So if this is something that impacts you or impacts somebody you know, definitely go and check it out. That is, it's a very important conversation to have, and I want to thank you at home for tuning in, and of course the guests here tonight for tuning in to Common Ground, a look inside Suffolk County. Good night.